Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you for our time together. I want to talk to you about the end of times. In Matthew 24, beginning with verse 3, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us when all these things will be, and what will be the signs of your coming and of the end of the age." And Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray." Now, that's his first warning. He said, listen, when we want to talk about the end times, he said, see that no one leads you astray. And then you need to go through your Bible and circle all the times it says many in this next passage. He said, many, verse 5, will come in my name saying, I'm in the Christ, and will lead many astray. You get down to verse 10, many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because of lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. Now notice, there's this huge falling away at the end times, a huge falling away, huge religious deception, huge influx of false prophets leading many astray, sin and things causing the love of many to grow cold. So there's this huge falling away. But then he says in verse 13, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. And, I circle that word and because it's connecting. The gospel of this kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Now, I love that. All the wars, all the nations rising against nations, all the false prophets, all the false Christs, all of the sin abounding and causing the love of many to grow cold, all of this horrible stuff happened. But then Jesus says, but I want you to remember something. Until this gospel is preached throughout the whole earth, the end will not come. In other words, none of this ugly stuff, none of this falling away, none of this nation rising against nation, none of this effect of false prophets is going to stop the advance of the gospel. Now, we live in a day like this today where there's so much of this going on. And some Christians, you really get discouraged. I would challenge you. These are the greatest days of evangelism we have ever had. It's time for the Church of Jesus Christ to rise up and begin to get the go back into the Great Commission. Skip this invite people to church stuff and get the go back into the Great Commission. My heart has been so challenged and so stirred ever since I was in Ghana, and I saw this great move of God across Africa with all of the Muslim problems and all of the poverty and everything they're going through. Honestly, if you were to ask me where I think the Christianity, the center and the heartbeat of Christianity is right now, I would tell you it's in Africa. But that doesn't excuse me. I'm going to start going with the gospel like I've never gone before. All this year, we're going to be doing crusades, and I'm going to be doing crusades all across the provinces and all across our great city. I would challenge every Christian. Forget about all the awful stuff you see. You can get discouraged when you look at it. But just remember, Jesus said, it doesn't slow down the spread of the gospel.